We try to learn about money by watching what others do, but there's a catch. We can only see what they spend. We measure success by the objects sitting in the driveway. A brand new exotic sports car signals that someone has made it to the top. Or we look at their lifestyle. Exclusive reservations, imported ingredients, and meticulously plated luxury meals broadcast high status to everyone in the room. But learning about money this way relies on a fatal illusion. Buying a $1 million car or a $5,000 dinner means you have exactly that much less money in your bank account. The act of visible spending is the literal destruction of capital. Take a sprawling celebrity mega mansion. From the street, the massive iron gates, manicured hedges, and sheer square footage project absolute dominance and endless resources. A few years ago, crime scene photos from one of these notorious estates leaked to the public. Behind the pristine facade, the interior was an absolute dump. When the public wasn't watching, the illusion collapsed. External appearances only prove that someone had capital and chose to spend it. They tell you absolutely nothing about the owner's actual financial stability, their debt, or whether they can actually sleep at night. This exposes the difference between two words we usually treat as synonyms: rich and wealthy. Being rich is a current state of high income. It means you earn enough right now to make the massive mortgage payment and cover the monthly lease on the sports car. This diagram shows the literal opposite of being rich: wealth. While the rich side rapidly converts cash into visible depreciating objects, the wealthy side retains unseen assets. It is money sitting quietly in brokerage accounts and index funds, earning capital while you sleep. Because true wealth is entirely invisible, we have terrible role models. You cannot observe another person's quiet compounding interest or their lack of debt. It is nearly impossible to learn how to build wealth through visual observation alone. Achieving true financial independence requires actively ignoring everything you can see with your eyes and instead mastering the psychological game of what you cannot see. We don't measure our financial success by looking at absolute numbers or our objective physical needs. Instead, the human brain relies entirely on relative contrast. We look at what the people around us have, and we compare it to what we have. Look at these identical, tightly packed suburban homes from the 1950s. A standard Levittown house was about 700 square feet. It had no garage, poor insulation, and a single bathroom for a family of 6. In the mid-20th century, moving your family into one of these structures felt like achieving absolute middle-class prosperity. It was the American dream realized. By today's inflated standards, a family of 6 sharing 700 square feet and 1 bathroom would be classified as unacceptable, poverty-level housing. The physical structure hasn't changed, but our baseline expectations have exploded. For decades, our contrast pool was limited to our immediate neighbors. Now, social media forces average earners to subconsciously compare their daily lives to the curated, highly filtered highlight reels of global billionaires and celebrities. This unlimited exposure creates a relentless psychological engine of FOMO, or the fear of missing out. It drives people to spend money they don't actually have, buying luxury things they don't actually need, to impress strangers they don't even know. Without a firm psychological grip on your own expectations, earning more money won't make you feel any richer. Any increase in your income will be immediately neutralized by an involuntary, subconscious upgrade in your visible lifestyle. Building invisible wealth operates on a completely different set of rules. It relies on a process of asset accumulation that is intentionally unglamorous, slow, and deeply boring. It looks less like a high-speed trading floor and more like a stoic corporate portrait. Broad institutional index funds, which hold thousands of stocks to capture the entire market's growth, are designed to sit completely untouched for decades. In this framework, saving money isn't a sacrifice or an act of delayed gratification. Every dollar you refuse to spend today acts as a claim check, a literal unit of future independence that nobody else controls but you. We often treat capital like a performance-enhancing drug, expecting a sudden windfall to induce a state of constant, ecstatic joy. But human emotion simply doesn't work that way. Instead, think of wealth as a vaccine against misery. It creates a thick financial buffer that absorbs the inevitable shocks: medical emergencies, and economic recessions that routinely derail human lives. The highest and most powerful utility of capital isn't acquiring status. It is buying the capacity to endure economic and psychological pain without your entire life collapsing. The ultimate goal of personal finance often gets confused by vocabulary. We aim for happiness, which is a fleeting emotion. Like laughing at a joke, it lasts for a few minutes and then fades. What we actually want is lasting contentment. This creates a cruel paradox of ambition. People exhaust themselves, working 80-hour weeks to chase that fleeting hit of happiness through highly visible spending, when all they really crave is peaceful, quiet contentment. This animation maps the definitive two-part formula. Wealth equals what you have minus what you want. Notice how the final wealth outcome can surge upward or crash to zero entirely based on the size of your desires, even if your actual bank balance never moves. Attempting to aggressively double your income, the have side of the equation, is incredibly difficult. It requires navigating intense competition, sacrificing your free time, and relying heavily on favorable luck. By contrast, deliberately lowering your expectations, the want side of the equation, operates entirely inside your own head. Managing your desires and rejecting the urge to upgrade your lifestyle is completely within your psychological control. Achieving true financial independence, then, isn't strictly a game of maximizing external returns or picking the perfect stock. It is entirely a game of managing your internal desires. The most valuable dividend that money pays is completely invisible. It is absolute autonomy. It's the independence to wake up every single morning and have total control over your own time. Imagine a person sitting in a Michelin-starred restaurant, forcing down a salty, expensive plate of caviar they don't even like, simply to look sophisticated to the other patrons. That is high-status misery. Compare that performative misery to a billionaire happily eating a $1 fast food chalupa. They aren't trying to impress anyone. They are just eating it because they genuinely enjoy the taste. That is authentic, low-status contentment. This specific behavior represents the absolute pinnacle of success. It means you are making everyday choices based entirely on your own internal satisfaction, completely detached from external validation. True wealth is independence, and the absolute greatest financial skill you can master is the profound, quiet ability to stop caring what anyone else thinks.